A diverse family of three have some unexpected guests arrive, and no, they don't want a cup of sugar. They believe the world is about to end, and the only way to stop it is with a sacrifice. What wacky mischief will these silly buggers get up to over the weekend? Find out in Knock at the Cabin. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Boy Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, Knock at the Cabin, the new release written and directed by thriller with a twist extraordinaire, M. Night Shyamalan. A same-sex couple and their adopted daughter have booked a cabin in the woods for the weekend, which can only go well. Then Dave Bautista, Ron Weasley, not Monica Rambeau, and Manic Dream Pixie Girl crash their little getaway with their homemade Mad Max weapons. The couple then get tied up and discover that one of them has to offer themselves as a sacrifice. That's right, one of them has to be willing to die to stop the apocalypse and the end of the world. And they haven't even finished the cheese board yet. And the rules do stipulate here that they can't actually self-delete themselves once they figure out which one of them is going to be sacrificed, because that would take all the fun out of it. And unfortunately, whoever offers themselves as a sacrifice, the other partner has to do it to them. Awkward! Unfortunately for the gatecrashers here, this couple actually have a loving marriage and really deeply care for each other. So neither of them are willing to offer themselves as tribute. This makes things super awkward because every time they turn down the offer to offer themselves as a sacrifice, one of the four party poopers has to die. And when they do, they release a plague on the world. Plagues as in earthquakes, tsunamis, viruses released, and commercial jets falling out of the sky. This movie does not muck around, it gets bloody straight into it. The movie does jump around and hard cuts between the current action and stakes at play here, and flashbacks of the couple and how they ended up where they are. Of course, there's distrust afoot, the couple thinking that these four wackos here are just extremist religious cultists who have an issue with their modern family. I did get heavy vibes of M. Night Shyamalan's previous film Signs here, as the conflict is happening in a secluded place with like a small group of people, or a family if you will, and all the big earth-shattering events are being talked about or seen on a television. We get some awkward, humorous dialogue here that's obviously trying to relieve the tension of the scene, but it doesn't really invoke an audible laughter, or especially not in my cinema. It just felt a bit forced, and I think people are growing a little bit tiresome to this, let's just put a subtle little dig or a comment here to make it funny, to relieve the tension. No Marvel cop-outs for you, Shyamalan! Of course, M. Night Shyamalan does his cheeky little cameo here, which he does in all of his films, and it's all the right amount of cheese. Kristen Cui, or Q, I don't exactly know how to pronounce that, so I'm sorry, who plays the adoptive daughter Wen here, is really, really good. The whole film begins and ends with her, and there's not many frames that she's not in. And this being her second role ever, she does a bloody good job. But the real star of this film, the MVP best on ground, is none other than Dave Bautista. He's really flexing his muscles in his roles here, showing his acting chops. It's interesting the choices that he makes and the projects that he chooses. You can tell he really cares about the craft and he's taking his job seriously. He's not just some meathead gym junkie dude who's trying to cash in on a flash-in-the-pan movie career. His choices are very, very interesting, and he's the perfect mix of like a big, brute force, intimidating figure with a mixture of nurturing, softness, and kindness. See, Rock? It's called acting. This film is based on a book as well, called The Cabin at the End of the World, by Paul Tremblay, published in 2018. This is very much a psychological thriller with a little tiny bit of horror elements chucked in. And this movie definitely feels like it's based in the same world as M. Night Shyamalan's other films. There's some great shots, some really interesting angles here, and I was fully invested in this film from start to finish. I will say, however, if you're expecting a monumental twist like you've come to expect from M. Night Shyamalan, it doesn't happen here. Yes, we do get some form of reveal or epiphany, if you will, towards the end of the film, but it's less of a twisty twist and more played as matter of fact, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. M. Night Shyamalan doesn't have to do a big, massive twist at the end of all of his films, but I feel he's kind of shot himself in the foot with his previous work. Because like I said before, we've sort of come to expect that now from him. I mean, shit, Even some of his lesser efforts still had a big twisty twist at the end of them. However, this film is fine. It's good. I was engaged from start to finish. It's not going to light your world on fire, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's solid. But yeah, guys, that's my review of Knock at the Cabin. Write down if you've seen it, what did you think, and what is your favourite M. Night Shyamalan film? And if, of course, you made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up, because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies, and I assume you do as well. And, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon, because we give out episodes weekly. And we'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky, kids.